So, moving our attention to what is going to happen next week. So, we do have a very key FOMC. It's probably going to have the most eye. I mean, it is going to have the most eyes on it of any that we have had so far. Next Wednesday, the 22nd, where Powell, despite last week, literally just last week, sounding, assuredly that they were raising rates again, and his tone and the way he sounded and everything sounded like, I mean, a lot of people, most people actually, were betting on another 50 going back to, I should say, 50-point rate hike after they went down to 25 the last time around back in January. We talked about how he got grilled by Elizabeth Warren and stuff like that. And, just the tone that he had sounded pretty hawkish with how they were going to treat things coming up. That's all before the events of this last week. We we have all these issues going on with the bank. Jerome Powell, is under lots of pressure now, personally, I think. The Fed, which we discussed last week, Ewok, is a creation by the government. So they're basically getting kicked while they're down, even though all they're doing is trying to clean up the mess of their bosses.
Yep.
So I'll just ask you, I guess, here are the scenarios. We have, I don't even think this is on the table anymore. I'll be honest. We talked about this the other day. It's not even, I don't think, on like the projection pages for what the rate hike could be anymore, but a 50-point rate hike, which I think is extremely unlikely, a 25-point rate hike, which would be in alignment with what they did in January. Do they do nothing at all? Or do they begin cutting, actually, which I don't think that. What do you think they do here? I know you were kind of staunchly thinking 50 before. I kind of was too. I mean, based on how Powell was sounding, but now I don't know. I don't even know if I think maximum we could see 25, and I'm not even very confident in that. So where are you at here?
Well, I think maximum we see 50. They're still printing money. They printed a bunch of money to bail these banks out. So we know they're back to printing, which is going to hurt the inflation rate. So do they take that bold move and go 50? I'm not sure. I was still kind of thinking they might, to kind of even that out, the printing that just happened. Now, if not, we will definitely see 25. I don't think they pivot yet. I don't think they don't do anything quite yet. Maybe when do we have a May and a June? Is there?
Yeah, May and June. Yeah, are the next
so
ones.
I think May or June will be our pivot. We'll probably, like I said, we'll definitely see 25 this time, probably 25 next time, and then I think we pivot. That's just my prediction. I think we still could see 50 though. But the more and more it looks, I think 25 is probably where it's going to end up.
HexPassiveIncome.com. My friend Crypto Coffee has created what I think is probably the best course for a new cryptocurrency investor. Not only that, but these courses usually charge an arm and a leg. Crypto Coffee is only charging $200. I think right now he actually has a discount for $150. I have a link below in the description. If you are new to crypto, do not understand Hex and how it works, click the link below. It's a quick, easy course. He only gives you the basics. I personally, myself, have thought about creating an intro to crypto course in the past. I don't think there's any reason to do so because Matt, Crypto Coffee, has already taken care of that. And I don't think anything needs to be added by anybody else. So check it out. The link is in the description and sign up to Hex Passive Income today.
Yeah, it is interesting because it is kind of like they're talking out of both sides of their mouth, even if they do a 25-point rate hike, because of the money printing that we're already seeing. And it's just kind of like, how long are they going to let this problem go on? Because the larger that these stories get and the bigger the banks, the more pressure there's going to be on to stop hiking interest rates. So we've talked about this in the past. It's hard to forecast out something that's multiple months down the road, especially, once again, I've said it like a million times, but everything that's happened literally in just the last week, it's really hard to predict what's going to happen in May or June right now. So I guess I could see one more rate hike, but as I sit here right now, I see them definitely pivoting by May. I mean, I feel like they're going to have to by that point. And either way, here's the great thing for us. I mean, like, we really don't give a shit about like legacy finance. I mean, we do in terms of like knowing where macroeconomics are and stuff, but we're not at the whims of these people necessarily. Well, I say that, but then again, we've had to look at like what they're doing, you know.
Yeah,
But I mean, but what I'm saying is we're in a market that moves differently in more ways than one than those markets. So, you know, to me, we don't really care that much about these banks going down. Like you said, it's almost a positive thing for us. And again, this is why, I mean, I'll double and triple down. I really can't be convinced that we're not in a new cycle and in a bull market now. I mean, we're at the beginning stages of it. I think I sent a text to you the other night that I thought 30K for Bitcoin by June. I think that was nowhere near aggressive enough now. I think we'll probably get that easily by May. At the rate that we're at right now. So
I think your can of hopium is too big.
I don't think it's hopium. I think it's realism, basically. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, like, no, I'm not a hopium guy. I mean, I think it's realism, just looking at what's happening right now. And, I mean, you were here with me for the whole ride down. We both together thought that Bitcoin would be into the lower teens. I mean, practically was, but,
yeah, it's close.
So, I believe that there. I just try to look at what's in front of me, and just with everything that's happening right now, I think this is crypto's time to shine. And I'm not saying that we're going to get anywhere near new all-time highs. 2023 should still be an accumulation year. And I'm not saying that we're going to totally blow past 30K through the second half of the year necessarily. I think there's a chance to get to 40 or 45 maybe, but I think that's like a best case scenario. But what I'm saying is, if people are on the sidelines still with these things going on and with the Fed going to pivot, this half of the year by next quarter anyway, I don't know what you're doing not in the market. That's just, I would feel like an idiot, frankly, if I was sitting there with funds on the side and still waiting for something else. I mean, I think we're getting down to the last chance, because when Bitcoin's over 30K, the alt season that will follow will melt the faces of the Bitcoin gains. It won't even be close.
That is the truth. Yes. Still the DCA strategy is the best one at this point, because we do have people like you that say that it's over. You have people like me that say I'm still not sure, and then you have other people that say nope, definitely not over yet. So those are becoming very few and far between. Those people that say definitely not. I'm still somewhat undecided on that side of things, but I think we could still see another dip down. But either way, dollar cost averaging is still going to be your best bet to enter the markets, I think. No financial advice, obviously, but that strategy seems to play out the best for the long-term mindset investors.
And, and for your defense, as wrong as you've been about this bear market, you primarily are looking at Hex, you know what I mean? And I do understand that. So you're not really going to concern yourself as much with like where the Bitcoin price is going. Hex has been moving on its own for a while now. Yep. And we have thought that
we have called the bottom for that since February or January, I think it was, that we said
late
that
December, actually, I believe. Well, wherever that's when it was happening, but
whenever we hit that 1.7 cent area, we both said, I think this is it. Probably not going to see these levels again. And there were still, people waiting for the penny, and it never went back there. So, I mean, imagine that now, saying, I wish I would have bought that. I wish I would have bought the penny. I wish, or the 2 pennies or whatever it is, now that we're sitting at 8 cents.
Right.
The same thing can happen to Bitcoin. Although for me, I'm not really investing in Bitcoin, so I could care less.
Right.
So you're right. It doesn't matter to me whether we did or didn't hit the bottom in Bitcoin. I know there's other people that don't feel the same way, but for me, it doesn't matter really.
Well, it is one of those things that the most of the market is going to move with Bitcoin's trend. So, it'll be interesting. You and I obviously both have talked a lot about the flippening and ETH overtaking Bitcoin, maybe even as soon as towards the end of this cycle.
Well,
Who
that
knows?
also depends on Gensler, what he said today, that now they're considering Ethereum a security.
Right.
So that could potentially impact that whole flippening that we saw or thought may happen this cycle. That could go completely out the window if that's the case.
It could. Yeah, it could. Unless, people would drive up the value of ETH anyway, eventually. I mean, we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, it's going to be this cycle is going to be really interesting, especially now that we are seeing it really kick off with the failure of all these banks and the rate hikes. This is going to be a really unique story, I think, as we get down the road, and people would definitely remember this. We got more Hex saying 40K Bitcoin in late April. Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna act. I'm not that bullish, I'll tell you that. But
Late April, early May, he says.
oh, okay, yeah, and the next thing he says August or something like that. So
Yeah, maybe June.
yeah,
Maybe.
yeah, yeah.